Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. Our buddy Rodney brought us this Bally CENTAUR, and we did a little video on it where we just kind of looked it over and test played it a little bit. It seems to be working pretty good, needs a little bit of work, but what he mainly brought it to us for was he wanted us to work on the Playfield. So that's what we're going to do in this video. The time has come, folks. So CENTAUR is just this beautifully drawn game. There's all kinds of crazy kind of heavy metal 70s artwork all over the playfield, and it's all just kind of line drawn, and it's all three colors. So it's basically black, white, and red. The white has severely faded over the years, but we'll see what we can do with that. So this thing has some wear here and there, and Rodney wants me to attempt to repaint some of it to try to make it look a little better. You can put an overlay on it if they make one. They probably do. But it's really involved, takes a lot of time. And if I'm doing that for somebody, you know, one, I don't even do it. But if I did do it, it would be expensive, you know. A lot of hobbyists do it, though, on their own machine. To properly put an overlay on, you have to sand off all of the artwork on the inserts. So it's a big job, you know. The right way to do it is to basically remove everything from the top of the playfield, sand the playfield flat, take all the old art off, and then put the overlay on it. A lot of work. Phone's ringing. So what we're going to do is actually attempt to repaint it by hand. There's some heavy wear up here at the top. This area is not that bad. We're not going to get every little piece. We're just going to try to make it look a lot better. That's pretty bad there. When the light hits it, see how you can see where the wear is? Basically, the paint has been completely chipped off the playfield. We'll look at it from this side. You can see it a little easier. That's a really bad spot there. Alright, and then here in the middle, there's heavy wear right there. So basically where these inserts are, you often get that. So we're not going to do a high-end restoration of this or anything. We're just trying to make it look a little better, which we can certainly do. Is this a spot too? Yeah, that's a bad spot there as well. So someone has went through and just blacked out the parts that were worn, as opposed to leaving them looking like bare wood. Originally, this would have been gray. It would have looked pretty much exactly like the back glass still looks. You can't tell because of the incandescent lights behind the artwork, but it's kind of like a gray, just like on the sides of the cabinet. So that originally was gray. You can get a good look at it there. It would have been this color, but has yellowed over time, and it's just the thing that they do, you know. The machines are old now. This came out in 1981, so it's 41 years old. So the way that we're going to do it is I'm going to remove the stuff from the playfield. Maybe not all of it, but most of it. I'm going to remove a lot of the stuff from the playfield, and then clean the area that we're going to work on. And then we're going to attempt to paint it back in by hand by color matching paint to the old faded paint. So I'm going to try to make like a yellowish green paint that will match the faded nature of the playfield. I'm not going to paint it gray like it should be, because nothing on the playfield's like that. And then we're going to try to draw back in some of the missing artwork, and I am not an artist. This is one of the craziest ones that I've done. Usually when I do them, there's cartoonish art. This is like high level stuff, you know. I am not capable of that. However, I didn't have to draw it. I just have to draw it back in. You know what I mean? A little easier. But yeah, this is a good example. See how gray this is compared to that? So the clear coat on the machine, and maybe the paint as well, but the clear coat especially, just yellows up over time. So you kind of have to have a good eye for color matching and all of that to get even close to it. They are driving me crazy with this phone, people. Is it one of you? You're calling because you know that I'm on the camera, right? Whew. They didn't even want nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna start taking the stuff off the top here. We're not going to remove everything from the playfield, but I'm gonna get rid of this stuff up in this area so that we can do that ball trail first. And then I'm just going to take the pieces and set them over on that pinball in a similar fashion to how they are here, and we'll work from there. It's a freaking phone again. They did the old glue the pop bumpers on trick. We took that stuff off. Now, folks, I have it turned on just for the effect of the video. Come on now. Don't worry about it. So we're going to clean all of this, and since we're about to paint it, I'm concerned with getting the wax off of the playfield, because if you put paint over wax, it will just bubble up. So we're going to paint it with acrylic paint, and then we're going to clear coat it with a spray can after that. So I can't get clear coat on wax. It will just, you'll have fish eyes and it'll look all screwed up. So I'm going to clean the wax off of it. The way I'm going to do it is with a magic eraser. So I'm going to clean from about here up with a magic eraser. And by doing that, I'm basically stripping off wax, stuff like that. Now you can use other products that are made specifically for that. I'm just saying that's how I do it, right? I'm not trying to tell you, oh, this is how you should do it, this is the only way to do it. I'm just saying this is how I do it, and it works pretty good to the point where people are bringing me stuff wanting me to do it to theirs, right? So we're going. The next step, we're going to clean everything, because once I start spraying clear coat, I don't want it on top of wax. Simple as that, right? So let me get a magic eraser, and we're going to try to get this as clean as possible, and so that we can see what we need to rework. As you can see too, it also comes down here. Basically that ball trail gets like that because when the ball comes up, it goes over the same spot every time the ball is shot. So it's very common on any pinball machine for that to have heavy wear. This one next to us is a strikes and spares. And as you can see, it's got the same thing going on, not quite as bad. It's just a thing. Okay, so magic eraser time. This is after we cleaned it up a little bit. You can kind of see the original wear because we took a lot of their black paint they had put on it off. This apparently survived. And that's some black ink that they put back in. They inked just a little bit of it back in. Cleaned it up a little bit. That somehow made that one light bulb start working. I don't know. So, didn't do anything to this part yet. We're just going to focus on this part. So if you look at how this is done, the background is all, we'll just call that gray, although it's obviously not. The background is all the gray, and then the black on top of it kind of creates the image. So basically, we need to get rid of all of that wear with the background color of gray, and then use a black acrylic paint pen to draw the lines back in of the artwork, which is going to be the hard part because I'm not an artist. This here, the background is black, and then the gray is the lettering. And that's always the worst part for me. I can't ever get the lettering looking perfect, but we'll see what we can do, okay? So I might try to do it the same way. Just paint the missing parts in with the gray, and then just use the black pen to define them. Okay, so the way I do it is I use acrylic paint, so I'm going to go grab my acrylic paint, and then we'll try to mix up something that's going to be similar to this color. The problem that you run into, though, is you have different colors. Like this is faded to a certain yellow, and that's faded to a different yellow. See how it looks lighter up there at the top? That's because the ball has never touched any of that. This here is a little darker because it's been right next to that hot light the whole time. So it's just, you've got all kinds of different stuff going on. So you don't have to get it perfect. It's also going to be hid by the black lines. So if you get it similar, pretty close, it's gonna look just fine, because the black lines are going to pretty much dead on match all of the other black, or hopefully. Let's knock on wood. And hide your repair there a little bit, or that's what we're hoping for, right? So let me grab my acrylic paint. Okay, so we're operating under the premise that it was like a whitish gray, a grayish white, and like I said, over time this stuff yellows and greens up. So I often start with buttermilk, which is like a off-white. Okay, but if you put buttermilk on, it's too bright. See how that's not right? So we're going to try to dirty it up a little bit by moving it a little towards green. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you think about it, if you added, so you got this color, if you added red to it, would you get over here? No. The color, the direction that's going is you're adding a little green. This is a little more green than that. Right? It's subtle, but it's there. So I'm going to use a little bit of green, just a tad. I've got like this light avocado, right? Can you kind of see it in there? Like it kind of, right? There's a little bit of this going on in there. I'm going to put just a little teeny bit of this in there, and see what that looks like. So that's next. So I mixed it up a little bit, and it was looking a little too green. So to kind of dirty it up a little bit more, I use this antique gold. Mix it all together. And it looked a little better, but it was a little wrong, right? So I went a little too dark. And so then I put more of the buttermilk back in to lighten it up. And I think that's pretty close. That's about as close as I'm going to be able to get it. So I'm going to paint it all in that color. And then I believe the black will blend it enough that you won't even be able to tell. Or that's my goal at least, right? You can see this is what we started with. That's what we mixed. So it's, like I said, it's subtle. All right, so we drew it all back in. When I do black, this is what I use. Now, we always use acrylic because you can clean it up. It's like if you mess up, you can just wipe it back off. Now, you can't really if it's on top of another color, but you get my point. So we used to use a slightly different brand that someone had donated to us, but we decided to try this brand, and I like it a lot better. Partially because it's not Chinese. Now, the person that sent us those pins, we appreciate it, and we used them a lot and got a lot of work out of them, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I like these better. So I bought some of these. These are on our website now too, so if you want some just like it. These are Posca, which is a French company. Let me show you. And it's made by Mitsubishi Pencil France, SA. I wonder if that has anything to do with, you know, Mitsubishi out of Japan. I don't know. You would think so, but it's a French company, and these are actually made in Japan. And they're just about as cheap. They're not expensive at all. $1 or $2 a pin, really. But look for this Uni brand. Oh, they are on our website. So go to lionsarcade.com. We have a parts page. On our parts page, there's links to all kinds of stuff that we use whenever we repair things and do our little repair videos. And we've got these listed on there. So you can go click those if you want. They're on Amazon. It takes you to Amazon if you click the link. If you buy anything while you're on Amazon, even if it's not those pencils or pens, it gives us a tip. So thank you to everybody that's been doing that. So what I did was I just looked at a picture of the Playfield on my phone, and then used it to kind of, now the letters there aren't that good, I told you about that ahead of time, and used it to kind of guide me in drawing the lines back. And I got it pretty close. It's obviously not perfect, and I'm not an artist, but I think it hides it pretty well. You don't see that trail through there anymore. And you know, you see the diamond. It's such a busy playfield that you can get away with this on something like this because there's just so much going on. Nobody's going to notice if you got one little line out of whack a little bit. Now, if I got every one of the lines out of whack a little bit, they still might not notice. Don't worry about it. And then I did the lettering. I'm horrible at that. Orb release tunnel. I screwed up the end. Oh well, sorry Rodney. I tried to do the best I could on it. It's hard to pull off perfect. But I think out of there it looks pretty good. So now I'm going to clear it. So when we clear it, we've got the clear coat that we use on our website too. We just use satin Krylon or Rust-Oleum or whatever you want to use in a spray paint can. Now, that's not necessarily the best way to do it, but it works good for the way we do it. You know, when we're just touching up a little bit of paint, we still got stuff on the playfield and everything else. So it's real easy to me to be able to take a little spray paint can and go and cover up what I just painted, and then it's protected. We use satin because it blends in with the finish of the playfield. If you look, the playfield is not a high gloss playfield. It's more of like a satin sheen, right? So if you put gloss clear coat on there, unless you're going to do the whole playfield, which if you're going to do the whole playfield, you better take a bunch more of this stuff off, right? But we're just doing a little spot. So we use satin because it kind of blends in with the rest of the playfield that wasn't cleared. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you clear coat over wax, you will have big freaking problems on your hands. So don't do that. You got to clean the wax off before you paint it. Okay, so I'm going to spray a little clear on it, and then we're going to let it dry for a little bit. As soon as the clear hits it as well, it will change those colors a little bit. The black, it won't change much, except it'll make it blend in a little better. That brown or green that we did, it may make it stand out more, or it may make it blend in more. So we won't really know until we hit it with the juice. So we'll do that, and then we'll repopulate it, and then we'll work on the rest a little bit more of it. If you've got plenty of time, you're doing it as a hobby, it would be better to take everything off at once, do it all at one time, but we're trying to do it just a little bit here, a little bit there. And plus I thought it might make the video more interesting. We use Krylon too. It's not real important what you use. Well, in our instance, it isn't real important what you use, but went ahead and threw it on there. I put some tape on that ball rail there so that it wouldn't get on there. Folks, say, I don't want to sound arrogant. I think it looks pretty decent. I mean, I think we did all right there. All right, so we got the parts back on. I think it came out pretty good. What do you think? I still need to wax it though. So now we got to do the rest. So I went ahead and used the magic eraser to try to get some of that ink that they put on. They probably just used a magic marker or something to blacken it up. So we've got this area and this area. There's a little bit of minor, like on the girl's face. I'm not going to touch that because that's something that you look at, your eye is drawn to on the playfield immediately. So if I get it even just slightly wrong, it won't look right, and you'll notice it over and over again. So I'm not going to mess with that. But all this heavy wear here, I definitely have to mess with. So most of the ink came back off, which doesn't really matter, but you know. And then there's some down here too that we'll have to do around that rollover, and then that big spot, and then some down here. Right. I'm not going to worry about, I didn't up there either, the wear around the switches, because it's kind of like that anyway. There's a little, they do a little bit of that anyway, so I'm just going to leave it. But we definitely have to make all this look better. Come on, people. We can't leave it. Come on now. We can't leave it like that and have Rodney. Come on now. He won't be able to look at the pretty artwork if we. People, we can't leave it all worn like this. Come on now. Okay, so same thing. You just basically, I'm going to mix up the correct color and have at it. So I didn't realize that up there was going to be such a perfect match. Hopefully we can do the same down here, but like I said, it's probably a little different color down here anyway. And if we don't get it perfect, look, her arm is one color, you know, because of that mylar that's there. So, you know, it doesn't have to be exact, but if it was exact, that'd be good. So let's see what I can mix up. Okay, so here's my color match on the background color. Not perfect. The hard part that you run into is that the original is all dirty, and your new paint is not dirty. But keep in mind, I didn't paint that. That's under the thing. So I think it's a fairly decent match. We won't know till we start putting all the black on. So just like before, I'm just trying to get the background all in that's missing, and then we'll bring the art out by drawing the lines back in. Okay, so let me show you a close-up of the original paint so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm putting brand new fresh paint on, but here's what it looks like, the original paint. So all those ball swirls that are in there, you know, a magic eraser gets rid of some of that, but I already hit it with the magic eraser. That's what's left. It's just the paint is all cracked and damaged and faded, right? So that's why it looks kind of dingy. Then you put new paint on, and it doesn't have any of that. So it's hard to get it to perfectly match because you're putting you're basically trying to match a texture without having a texture. So if you look under this mylar, which is likely factory, no ball swirls. And if you look there, my new paint and the old paint under the mylar, very close. Not bad. It would be better though if I wasn't quite so close. Like if I was a little bit darker to match the other, the paint that's got all the wear on it, it would be a little better. But I think it's going to look pretty good once we put the lines in. If I can put the lines in where you don't notice it. So, same thing. I used buttermilk. Used a little bit of antique gold. On this one I used some Hauser medium green. And then when you do that, a lot of times it'll just be too vivid. It's just too bright, and it's vivid is the best word for it in my opinion. So if you take the opposite color on the color wheel and put just a little bit of that in, it kind of dirties it up. So the opposite of yellow, that's kind of a yellow, is purple on the color wheel. So I put just a little dab of purple, and it kind of made it a little more dull and made it match a little bit better. But the areas where the areas where it's right up against the old paint, you can absolutely tell, like there, right? But we're going to lay a bunch of lines over that. So, and then whenever we put the clear on it, the clear kind of calms it down to where it all has the same sheen, and it's harder to see the difference. Now you can see on this, see how that's lighter? That line is about where I painted. But look at this, I didn't paint that, and it matches it. So hopefully, whenever we get all of the artwork back on, if I can get all the artwork back on. See, my problem is I'm not that steady with my hand. That's my problem that I run into. Hopefully it'll lay down and look pretty good once we get some clear on it. So that's the background color. Now we just got to do the easy part. Just draw all this amazing artwork back on by hand. Ah, hell, I can do that. Alright folks, so here's what we ended up with. You can see that it's slightly lighter. I haven't hit with the clear coat yet. I'm hoping that it'll darken it a little bit. So I had to recreate those two and most of that one. Now, these are obviously not perfect. You can see that I did the ink around this one, but I didn't bother on those. We're not trying to get every little thing. I'm just trying to do the best I can to make it look presentable, and we're trying to do where your eye won't catch it. If you go around and you try to fix every little thing, it's going to be noticeable. Now, with that said, you saw I did a whole bunch, right? I repainted this rat thing. His face was missing. And then a lot of the whip there as well. A little bit of the whip there. Right? The thousands I wrote back in. Like I said, I usually do the worst on the lettering, but if you don't know that it's like that, you may not know. So the little demon guy here was almost completely missing. The top half of him there has all been repainted from the eyes up. You can kind of tell because it's not as good. These were missing. You just saw me do those. You just saw me put the hand back. And again, I'm just looking at a picture of it online and tracing it back in. I'm not a great artist. This is some beautiful work, though. Not by me, I mean the original work. Okay, this is interesting. This guy, I wonder if this is the guy that did, this is Paul Ferris, yeah. This is the guy that did Lost World. Lost World's back glass on the corners, it has a woman standing just like this, offering up a baby that a snake is eating. Come on, Paul. I don't know what that meant, Paul. Come on now. So the chick, her arms were messed up a little bit, and then worst of all, her derriere was messed up. So I put it back in. Looks pretty good. Paul's pretty good. I didn't give it the, you know, if you look at the picture online, you know, it wasn't, I mean, it looks good, but it wasn't perfect to begin with. But, you know, this side is the one I fixed, and I didn't quite give her the hip hugger thing going quite as good. But it looks pretty good, I think. I think it'll pass. Redid a little bit here. You can tell it's not all that great. One of the problems that I have is that I don't have a pen that's real thin. The one that I use is 0.7 millimeter. That's the smallest one I can find. So it comes out a little thicker. Now, with that said, people, here's the hardest thing to understand about this. Nobody's going to notice any of that. 50 people could come in this door, and if I don't tell them, they're not going to see a damn thing that I repainted on that whole playfield. You just watched it, so you see every little flaw. Oh, he didn't get that. Oh, I would have done. Oh, this wasn't quite. People, the whole thing is try to hide it, right? You don't want them to see that you worked on any of it. So look at the difference in the color there. It's minimal, man. It's minimal. Now, if you, for instance, these lines that I did here, see how they're not quite the same as these? Well, why are those so light? Look, he didn't do these the same as these. Why didn't he do those the same as those? What in the world? Oh, man, look, what did he do up here? This is completely different than over here. And look at this hatch work here. Look, there's like an errant line right there. Why would he do that? Look at that one. It goes crossways, right? So whenever you do this stuff, don't be too hard on yourself about it being perfect, because the original art is not perfect, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeously done. This guy was an awesome artist, and I think he still is. I believe he's still with us. But so it doesn't have to be perfect. Look over here. Look how he did the steps. See how just rough that is, and it's just pencil sketch stuff drawn in. It doesn't have to be perfect, folks. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of replace what was missing, if you've got the balls to do it. A lot of people wouldn't even attempt it because it looks so scary. It's actually easier to do ones like these than it is to do the ones that have big solid shapes, because all of those little lines hide all of the, you know, that color is completely different than the other color. There's so much going on the playfield. When your eyes look at it, if you're not really paying it, like if you're not zoned into it like we are right now, where we're paying attention to it. You know, when your eye looks at it, there's 100 different things going on. What's this? Ooh, look, a shiny light. Ooh, oh, it's a woman's face. What? She's got something in her hand. What? Oh, ooh, look at that guy. You know, you don't notice that, and that I repainted. You know, and then you go, oh, look, his hand's out. But you don't notice that I didn't repaint those two fingers, but I did those two. You know, it's just, and it's not because I'm real good at it. It's just because we're just trying to do the best we can with what we got. You know what I mean? The best way to do it is to take it all the way apart, sand it all down, put a new overlay on it. The hell with that, man. I think we touch it up a little bit with paint and roll with it. So I'm going to hit it with the clear. Hopefully it comes out good. I hope it darkens up that new paint just a little bit, and it'll blend right in if I can get it just a little bit darker. So we'll see how it comes out. All right, folks. We got it all cleared, all waxed up. You can tell me what you think. Here, I'll show you the overview first. So here's how this part came out. Now, if you know, those 3 balls on the left, they're not quite right. If you know. And the rat, he's not quite right, if you know. I did touch up a little bit of her face. That came out pretty good. You can't even tell. And then, of course, I redid the thousands, like I said. And then down here, the hand turned out pretty good. And that thing in the background, whatever it is, I think all it came out pretty good. That's not bad. The clear did darken it up. The girl looks real good. So the main thing, though, is this. This is interesting. So the face I had looking a little better than that. The top half of the face, from about the eyes up, I completely redid. But the thing is, they had colored that in with Sharpie beforehand. Some people came in. Yeah, so the top of his head, I repainted all of that, and it was a lot lighter, but they used a Sharpie on the bare wood underneath it. You remember earlier, they just had it all blacked out. Well, I cleaned off the Sharpie, but I didn't get all of it off, and I found in the past that the clear interacts weird with Sharpie. So if you use Sharpie on a Playfield, if you put any kind of clear coat on it, or if you use it on like the side of a cabinet or something, it will start running once you clear it. So it kind of ran a little bit. If you look, it's, instead of it being the same clean color as, say, that, which I completely repainted, it's darker because the Sharpie underneath it is showing through. So, but I don't know, folks. I think it came out pretty good, all things considered. A lot better than it was, in my opinion. So I don't know what kind of shot I got earlier that I can morph this into. I guess maybe I could show that, and we'll see if I've got an old picture of it. So this is what we ended up with. Now, the sound, it sounds great, but there's a hiss going on. It's not the usual ground loop that you get with the lights. It's just kind of a constant hiss. It's something on the Sounds Again board, not the Squawk and Talk. It's on that one that or I guess Sound Again, whatever, Say It Again board. If you unplug that Say It Again board, it doesn't do it. So I don't know. All of the caps have been replaced on that, or most of them, it looked like. So it may be like a cap that has already been replaced, or it may be a chip is letting sound in, or whatever. But we're not going to chase that because the customer, I don't believe, minds if it has a little bit of a hiss going on whenever it plays it. Rodney will let us know if he does. But it sounds really good whenever it's playing, so I don't want to mess with it and chase our tail on that whenever I'm not sure what the problem is. I've never worked on one of those before. Okay, so let's set up the tripod. I adjusted a few things. I fixed the pop bumper. I fixed the lights. I adjusted the feet so it's nice and flat and level now. So we'll play it a little bit and see if it plays a little better with that good-looking art on there. That'll probably make it so much more fun. Well, I can tell already some of y'all are going to hate this, but on the previous video we played it with the lights on. I like playing them with the lights off, so oh well, people. Deal with it.
Destroy CENTAUR.
Yeah. Destroy CENTAUR. Oh, pop bumper working. Nice little shot up the middle. What was that noise?
Only single value.
Oh, missed. I'm trying to hit that. There we go. It didn't hit it hard enough to drop it. Oh, come on. Come on now. Come on.
Destroy CENTAUR.
It reset those 4 drops. There's 4 drop targets in a row. You got to get all of them, it looks like, to release the extra balls that are hiding under the playfield. Woo. Woo, missed it. Didn't hit the target. Oh, I see.
Only single value.
Sometimes when you hit certain things, it drops the drops.
Destroy CENTAUR.
Our buddy Rodney likes his games on 5-ball, so this is on 5-ball.
Only single value.
Oh!
Destroy CENTAUR.
Yeah, CENTAUR. So I wonder who it is telling you to destroy CENTAUR. Is it not CENTAUR himself talking? Oh, not enough. Oh, there's an extra one. I got an extra ball somewhere. I didn't even see it come out.
Two completed.
Oh, come on now. Where did the extra ball come from?
Destroy CENTAUR.
Look, there's no extra balls on the playfield. Then the lights went out. And one popped up out of nowhere. It's like a magic trick.
Release power core.
Whoa. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's play one more time. Destroy CENTAUR. Now, folks, if you're looking for a video, a gameplay video, where it's all lit exactly how you want it, and every mode is gotten to, and they show you exactly how to do it all, this ain't the video. Go find somebody who's good at playing, and then you'll have nothing to complain about.
Destroy CENTAUR.
Man.
Destroy Centaur.
This game's cool. It's got like a really nice layout. It's got some good flow. Nice shots. I assumed people just liked it because of the cool art, but I can see it's actually a very well designed game.
Destroy Centaur.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh.
Only single value.
Ah, man.
Destroy Centaur.
All right, folks. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Missed it. I don't know how you're supposed to hit that one. It looks like the easiest way is through this little run here, because it kisses it. Bam! And knocks it up through there. We're going to have to play one more time, people. It's just too cool. It's too cool! If I can reach in there and put a credit on it. Without electric.
Energize me.
Yeah.
Energize me.
Yeah. So, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about my artwork. Go ahead. Tell me how bad it is. Also, make sure to check out my brother Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, we do pinball machines, arcade games, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie does old buildings, old vehicles, cows.
Destroy Centaur.
Ooh, so you can't hit it direct on that easy, at least.
Bad move, human.
Bad move, human.
Destroy Centaur.
I want to see the magic pinball pop out of nowhere again.
Only single value. Only single value.
Ooh, missed it. Come on now. Come on now, they cheating.
Destroy Centaur.
I like it. Cool game. Huh. Look, I got another one. You saw it, right? It doesn't even make any sense, people. The ball is at the bottom, and then all of a sudden,
Completed.
it's at the top. I'll tell you another thing. I'm pretty sure I saw a magnet under there. Boy, there's a lot of lights on right now. I ain't hitting much.
Bad move.
Come on now.
Destroy Centaur.
Yeah. Oh, it bricked it. Oh, come on. What happened there? It tried to bounce back through, but didn't make it.
Destroy Centaur.
Ooh. What am I doing here? What am I doing? We gotta get some more of them drops. Ooh. Need some more of them drops. Missed it. Missed it.
Release power orbs.
I tried. Release power orbs. All right, I'm gonna play it one more time.
Destroy Centaur.
There's one.
Destroy Centaur.
Yeah. Ooh, barely saved it. Whoa. It's two. Oh, come on now. Come on now.
Destroy Centaur. Destroy Centaur.
Ooh, that's a nice little drop. If I could just get them other two. Thought I had it. I missed it. Whew! Ah, come on now. All right.
Centaur.
This is my last chance to get the magic pinball to appear out of nowhere. And I short flipped it. Come on now, don't short flip it. Come on now, people. Don't do that. There's one. It appears, if you spell orb, a magic orb appears. Oh, no. Maybe we'll never know. All right, folks, I'll see you on the next one.